What it is, everybody. Thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. We'll start this video off about, let's just get into the meat and potatoes of it. You know, a lot of you guys have been asking for me to make this video and explain a lot, and I have in some comments, but not as in depth. Now, this isn't going to be some long diary or anything like that, but it's definitely going to tell you, and I'll tell you my reasons on why I dislike Yamaha and dislike the brand so much, despite the fact that I have a 2018 R1M over there in the corner. So, well, let me just first and foremost say, it's not like the brand, you know, as in a company, did anything to me. They definitely didn't do anything like that. They didn't screw me over on a bike. They didn't leave me stranded or leave me high or low or anything like that after buying something like that. They're shitty customer service. And no, they didn't do anything like that. I dislike the brand itself so much of all of them is just because as someone that works on motorcycles and as a tech and has taken apart pretty much almost every, well, not every, but a vast majority of all the motorcycle makes and a lot of the models apart to fix them, you know, hype them up, soup them up, whatever it is that you want to call it, for performance and maintenance and stuff like that. You tend to see a lot of the mechanical flaws and advancements that some brands obviously have over than others. Now, I'm not going to sit here and advocate that because you guys know that I love Suzuki so much, that I'm not going to say that, oh, Suzuki is just the best out of everything. Absolutely not. No, because there's still been some things that I've seen Suzuki do that have been like, really? You just have this, like, really, Suzuki, you just did this shit? But anyway, when you work on them and stuff like that, I think that you tend to have a love-hate relationship as well for the brand of whatever it also is that you're looking at. So like, and I'm going to get kind of into this before I get too far off topic with it, because when you ask a mechanic or anything like that, what's a good car? Well, he's going to tell you the car, what's a good car, or what's a good, you know, whatever it may be. It's going to be the car that he doesn't fix. It's not going to be the car that he likes because it doesn't make him any money, but it's going to be the car that he doesn't fix. Now, generally, I would probably say of all of the bikes that I've worked on during my career, Yamaha, hands down, has probably been the most faulty, especially of the big four. Now, we're not even going to get into Ducati or anything like that on all the corners and cuts and shit that they do, but a lot of people can't afford a Ducati, so Ducatis necessarily always don't come into play, and they're not always in as much circulation as the other big four, even including the BMWs. But when you work on the others, let's just start with the big four, you know, Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawi, and Honda, they're definitely, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, whether these all may be factual or not, because some other people may really like the brand, I just think they're the most problematic. And they sometimes tend to stay behind the curve and play it safe. Now, you can argue that because, hell, they win a lot of races. They're known for their handling, and absolutely they are. I mean, I still think my Yamaha goes around a corner better than my V4. Whether that's true or not is how it feels for me. Even though the bikes are so close, that's how it feels for me. But when you work on them and it comes down to fixing things and you see the way they do things, it may be something as simple as a brake lever, a rear foot lever, a gear shift or whatever, and I just don't like the way that they engineer and do things as opposed to some of the other manufacturers. And when you're working on them and you may get frustrated or they pisses you off or something like that, those type of things, like, it kind of makes you kind of grow into a hatred of the brand. And sometimes those things can be cured and revised, but they necessarily weren't revised for me. But I've tried over the years and stuff like that, but it just never did it for me. And another thing with the bikes, as far as the brand, is when I would ride them, they never felt at home for me. They kind of always felt cheap. And when I say cheap, as in, like, I got a lot of vibration or buzzes and whatever it may be, you know, through the handlebars, through the feeling, the feedback, the gear shifters, whether it was notchy or not notchy enough, it just didn't feel at home for me. And when it didn't feel at home for me, it also made me despise and dislike the brand and the bike more. Now, I'm not also talking about one specific bike like an R6 or an R1 or anything like that. I'm talking about as a brand as whole, because I've ridden their cruisers and their high cruisers and their low cruisers and stuff like that, and they just didn't do it for me. And so some of you guys are like, oh well, hey, maybe you checked out this Striker versus, you know, its competitors or this, that, whatever. Yes, I have. I'm not gonna sit here and go and list every brand or anything like that, but it just didn't do it for me, and it never felt at home. So I grew to really not like the brand mechanically, and then when I had to fix them, I was like, oh, great, now I gotta fix this, you know, this piece of shit Yamaha, whether the Suzuki could have broke right there in front of me for the exact same shit, but the Yamaha was still more of a piece of shit, you know. That was just kind of my, you know, thought process and my mentality. Now, it really never changed when I got this bike, because I knew, and pretty much having a lot of this bike apart already, I'm like, well, that's how they do things, and I knew this kind of buying this bike, but there was a lot of advancements in this bike that I saw that they took with this generation of the R1, and then as far as the electronics and the computer standpoint with the 18 model, that really lured me into it, and I really do like it, but I still don't like working on it as opposed to my Suzuki or hell, even my BMW, and this thing is also not the easiest to work on, but you know, I don't even want to get into a whole can of worms with that. But bottom line is I like the bike, and it's here to stay. But a lot of you guys have also asking, you know, why do you dislike the brand so much? And those are a lot of my reasons. But I will have to say this, as a whole, as a brand, I have to admit, like, out of the big four, I have to say, they probably have the best looking bikes, hands down. They really do, especially in the mid 2000s with that shark face nose on the R1. Suzuki may always been my brand, but I can't sit here and deny it. That should look dope, you know. And I'll even tell you, Suzuki's kind of always been a little bit on the conservative side as far in the looks department. They may be awesome in the mechanical repairability and the engineering, but a lot of people buy bikes on the street when you're riding them on the street for the way they look. Some people buy them for the way they handle. Some people buy them for what they are. You know, the Duck looks great, but I mean, hell, that shit might just break sitting here on the stand. You know, who the hell knows? But it's when they get the looks down. I mean, I still even think the R1M that I have over here is stellar, and it looks kick ass and it looks bomb. But and there's some other bikes, you know, like I think the new Hondas and stuff like that, they look like complete turd. They look like shit, man. But, you know, that's, as far as in the looks department, that's, you know, in the rider's opinion. And if in the mechanical standpoint, some people, I've met some, you know, friends that and still have techs and stuff like that love working on Yamahas, and they don't mind their engineering or anything like that. But to me, it's no different than working on a different brand for a car or a semi-truck or a conventional light-duty, medium-duty truck that you just maybe not like. Maybe you only like working on Chevys or GM, and you don't like working on Ford, or vice versa. Or you like Mopar, whatever it may be. That's just kind of always how it's been with me for Yamaha, and it's no one personally did anything to me. Again, the company didn't do anything to me, but that's just my personal opinion. So it hasn't left me stranded yet or anything like that, and I hope it doesn't, because if it does, y'all are going to hear about it, and I'm really going to talk some more shit about it, but let's hope that it doesn't. But so far, the bike has been great. I really do like it. It's pretty fast. I can't deny that too. But it handles like a dream. Like I said, I think it personally handles better than the Ducati V4. Now, it doesn't accelerate harder or stop as good, you know, but I think that it handles, you know, on par. Like, it's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the best handling bike I have in my collection. Whether you agree with that or not, whatever, that's my opinion. So, but I think the bike is overall good. But that's kind of some of the reasons why I really dislike it. But now you guys know, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. You know, sometimes I just think, you know, Yamaha sucks, but that's just my opinion. Whether you're first on race day or last or whatever, you know, every bike is kick-ass and better at something than the other. And if there was one that was just so great in everything, then no other bike, there would never be a sale. because one may look better than the other, sound better, stop better, accelerate better, whatever it may be. One's got to do something better than the other. So Yamaha just doesn't do it always for me. But that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. Now you guys know, Facebook, Instagram, @TheSpeedBug, same name, here's YouTube, and we'll see y'all for another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Deuces.